Have you ever noticed how some people seem to grow their wealth easily, while others earn good money but still struggle to get ahead? The truth is, wealthy people follow a different set of rules, and today, I'm revealing one of the most important ones. I'm about to uncover 8 investments that look smart on the surface but are actually hidden wealth destroyers. These aren't just poor choices, they're financial traps designed to move your money into someone else's hands, all while making you feel like you're doing the right thing. Even Warren Buffett has warned about these exact money-draining mistakes that keep middle-class Americans stuck. Each one of these so-called investments is part of a larger system built to profit from your financial missteps. The financial industry wants you to believe these are good moves because they bring in huge commissions for them, even as they slowly drain your future wealth. What surprised me most in my research is that the average American falls for at least 3 of these traps in their lifetime, and most don't even realize it until the damage is already done. It's time to shine a light on these financial time bombs before they destroy your chances at real wealth. So let's jump into the first wealth killer that, chances are, someone is being convinced to buy right now. First worst asset, timeshares. The vacation deal that never ends. Imagine this, you're at a fancy resort presentation, sipping free drinks, gazing at a beautiful ocean view, and listening to a smooth-talking salesman explain why it's smarter to own your vacation spot instead of paying for hotels. That one line has tricked millions of Americans into buying what seems like a dream, but is really a $23,940 money pit. Here's the hard truth, you're not buying real property, you're buying into an expensive club with fees that never stop. Those $1,700 yearly maintenance fees. They go up every year whether you use the place or not. It's like paying for a gym you never visit, but worse, because you can't cancel. And the resale market? It's so bad that people literally pay others to take their timeshares off their hands. There are even companies that charge thousands just to help you cancel your contract. That alone should be a major warning sign. As for all the flexibility they promise, floating weeks, point systems, and the chance to go anywhere, that's mostly an illusion. The dates you actually want are rarely available, there are wait lists for everything, and they tack on extra fees every time you want to make a change. It's like having a credit card that only works at stores that are always closed. Don't get me wrong, I think travel is important. But there are much better ways to do it. In fact, just the maintenance fees from 10 years of a timeshare could fund amazing trips to new places every year, using credit card miles, Airbnb, or hotel deals. There are countless smarter, more flexible ways to explore the world. What really bothers me is watching people close to retirement lock themselves into these long-term costs, thinking they're securing future vacations. But in 20 years, will you even want to visit the same place again and again? Your health, preferences, and family life will change, but that timeshare keeps charging like a financial ghost that never dies. And speaking of financial ghosts, the next mistake is even more common, and even more damaging. The second worst asset is a brand new car, one of the fastest ways to lose money without even realizing it. You've probably heard someone say, "I got a great deal, 0% APR, brand new, full warranty, and all the latest safety features. It's a smart investment." But this is exactly how dealerships convince people they're being responsible, when in reality they're making a costly mistake. Here's the truth, the moment you drive that $45,000 SUV off the lot, it drops in value by about $6,000 to $7,500. In the first year alone, it's worth around $38,500. By year 5, you'll be lucky if it's worth $18,000. That means you just spent $27,000 to borrow a car for 5 years. And that's 0% financing. It usually means you're giving up thousands in cash rebates, or the dealer raises the price to cover their costs. It's like getting a free dessert at a restaurant where they secretly double the price of your meal. Then there's the feature overload. Modern cars come packed with flashy screens, gadgets, and luxury add-ons that add thousands to the price but hold almost no resale value. You're paying top dollar for tech that will be outdated before the loan is even paid off. Wealthy people do something smarter, they buy gently used cars that are 2 to 4 years old, letting someone else take the depreciation hit. You get nearly the same value for 50% to 60% of the original price. A reliable 2021 Honda Accord or Toyota Camry will perform almost the same as the 2025 model but cost $15,000 less. The real reason many people buy new cars after 40 is emotional. They feel like they've earned that new car smell and the status it brings. But what they've really earned is the right to be financially free, not stuck with a $750 monthly payment for something that loses value every day. A car should help you get to work, not keep you working longer just to pay for it. And speaking of things that keep you working longer, the next financial trap is sold as security but often ends up doing the opposite. The third worst asset is whole life insurance, basically the most expensive savings account you'll ever own. It's often sold as a smart combo, life insurance plus a savings plan in one. Sounds convenient, right? But it's a financial trap. Whole life insurance typically gives you just a 1% to 2% return after fees, while even simple index funds usually return 7% to 10% over the long term. Let's look at the math. If you pay $500 a month for 30 years, that's $180,000 total. Your cash value might grow to around $220,000. But if you had just invested that money in a basic S&P 500 index fund, it could have grown to $400,000 or more. The fees are a hidden nightmare. Up to 90% of your first-year payments can go straight to the salesperson's commission instead of building your savings. It can take 10 to 15 years just to break even. And you don't even fully control your money. If you want to access it, you have to borrow against your policy and pay interest. If you die while you still owe, they deduct that amount from your family's payout. It's like putting your money in a bank that charges you to take it out. Many people buy whole life policies out of fear. They want to avoid the ups and downs of the stock market. But the real danger is inflation slowly eating away at your low returns while the cost of living keeps rising. There's a much better approach. Buy term life insurance, which is 10 to 20 times cheaper, and invest the rest in index funds or your 401k. If you need permanent insurance for things like estate planning, talk to a fee-only financial advisor who won't make money by selling you stuff. After 40, every dollar matters. You need simple, strong returns, not confusing, underperforming investments. But if you thought whole life insurance was complex, wait until you hear about the next wealth destroyer that tricks people into thinking they're becoming real estate moguls. The fourth worst asset is out-of-state rental properties. What seems like passive income often turns into a passive nightmare. The idea sounds great. Real estate always increases in value, and you'll collect rent while building equity in your sleep. But that dream has fooled many people into buying properties in cities they've never visited, managed by people they've never met. It's like gambling with huge sums of money while blindfolded. Local real estate markets are complex. You need to understand things like schools, crime rates, job trends, and what kind of tenants live there. If you don't, you're just guessing. Most out-of-state buyers rely on what sellers, turnkey companies, or property managers tell them, which is like buying a stock based only on the company's own ads. Property managers usually take 8 to 12% of your rental income, plus extra for repairs, placing tenants, and managing the place. A good manager might be worth it, but a bad one can ruin you with fake repair charges, long vacancies, and tenants who trash your home. Let's look at the math. You rent a property for $1,200 a month. That's $14,400 a year. Sounds good, until your HVAC breaks, $8,000, the roof needs replacing, $12,000, or you face an eviction, $5,000. One big problem can wipe out your entire profit, and you're dealing with it from 2,000 miles away. Real estate feels safer than stocks, especially for people near retirement, but when you're far away, it becomes a risky burden. Smart investors buy property near where they live. They can drive to it, know the neighborhood, hire trustworthy contractors, and keep an eye on everything. They often start by house hacking, living in one part of a property and renting the other units. If you still want to invest in real estate without the stress, look into REITs, real estate investment trusts. You get access to professionally managed real estate, spread across many properties, and it's easy to sell if needed. No calls about clogged toilets or wrecked kitchens. But speaking of investments that seem to offer control but actually cause chaos, the next financial trap is even sneakier. The fifth worst asset is day trading in penny stocks, where trying to be smart often turns into gambling. Many people believe they can beat the market if they just find the right system, the right signals, or the right hot stocks. But the truth is harsh. Over 97% of day traders lose money in the long run, and only 0.4% make more than minimum wage. Day trading isn't real investing, it's gambling dressed up with charts, buzzwords, and technical tools. You're up against super-fast trading algorithms, huge financial firms with expert teams, and insiders with way more information than you'll ever have. It's like trying to win an F1 race on a bicycle. The problem is, it feels productive. Green numbers make you feel smart, red ones make you want to chase your losses. Apps like Robinhood make it even worse with fun sounds, confetti, and alerts that turn your savings into a slot machine. Penny stocks, those cheap shares under $5, are especially risky. They barely trade, share little financial info, and are often part of pump-and-dump scams where the price shoots up on hype and crashes soon after. On top of that, any short-term profits you make are taxed heavily, up to 37%, plus trading fees and software costs eat away at your money. Many people over 40 feel behind financially and think trading is a shortcut to catch up, but it just gives the illusion of control. Real wealth comes from slow, steady investing in low-cost index funds and letting compound interest grow your money over time. If you really want to trade for fun, set aside just 5% of your portfolio and treat it like entertainment. Let the other 95% work for your future quietly, without screens or stress. But if you think day trading is intense, the next wealth destroyer is even more dangerous, because it feeds on your fear and patriotism. The sixth worst asset is collectible gold and silver coins, shiny items that can quietly drain your bank account. The pitch sounds convincing: gold is real, it's tangible, it never goes to zero. That's why many people, especially retirees, are persuaded to buy collectible coins as a way to protect their money from economic collapse. But in reality, these coins often come with massive markups, sometimes up to 4,200% more than the actual gold is worth. For example, gold might be selling for $2,200 an ounce, but a limited edition American Eagle coin could cost you $3,500. That extra $2,300? It's pure profit for the dealer, not added value for you. When you go to sell, most coin shops will only pay you for the gold content, not the collectible premium, and many won't buy these coins at all. So you're stuck with expensive metal that earns no income, pays no dividends, and often loses value. Since 1971, gold has returned about 7.7% a year, while the S&P 500 has averaged 10%. That means you're giving up growth in exchange for storing something that just sits there. And the way these coins are sold makes it worse. Companies use fear of inflation, market crashes, and government collapse, combined with patriotic images and celebrity pitches, to push overpriced coins. They create urgency with messages like, "Buy now before it's too late," but these ads run all year long because demand is low at those inflated prices. If you want some gold in your portfolio, consider gold ETFs like GLD or IAU instead. They track gold's price without the extra costs or hassle. And even then, gold should be a small part of your investments, 5% to 10% at most. The wealthy don't fill safes with coins, they invest in assets that grow and produce income. Investing based on fear often leads to costly mistakes. And hey, if you've ever fallen for one of these traps, maybe a timeshare, whole life insurance, or a coin collection you regret, don't feel bad. Millions of smart people have made the same choices. Share your story in the comments, your experience might save someone else from the same mistake. And now, let's talk about the next big trap, one that sells the dream of freedom, but usually leads to financial stress. The seventh worst asset is buying a franchise you don't fully understand, it often means buying yourself a job, not financial freedom. Franchises are sold as a proven, low-risk path to business success with slogans like, "Be your own boss," and "Turnkey system," but the reality is very different. More than half of all franchises fail or close within 5 years, and many people lose their life savings in the process. You don't truly own the business, you're just renting the brand. The franchisor controls almost everything: pricing, suppliers, marketing, operating hours, and more. You're stuck with all the stress of running a business, but with little real control. If your sales fall short or reviews are bad, you could even lose your franchise license. Startup costs are also steep. A typical franchise might cost anywhere from $150,000 to $500,000 upfront, including franchise fees, equipment, and working capital. Then, you pay ongoing royalties of 4% to 12% of your total sales, not profits. Subway, for example, charges 8% in royalties and 4.5% in advertising fees, which leaves owners with very little left over. And forget about being a passive owner. Most franchise owners work 50 to 70 hours a week in the early years, handling employees, complaints, suppliers, and regulations. You can't just quit or walk away like with a regular job. Franchises often appeal to people over 40 who feel burned out by corporate life and want control, but without real knowledge of the industry, it's a dangerous move. Before buying a franchise, you should work in that industry for at least 6 months, speak with current and former franchisees, not just the ones the company shows you, and hire a professional to review the business numbers in detail. Also, make sure you have enough savings to survive up to 2 years without earning a profit. The smartest entrepreneurs build businesses around their own skills and interests, often choosing service-based businesses that don't need big startup costs or royalty payments. But the last wealth destroyer on our list is perhaps the saddest of all, because it often comes from a place of love. The 8th worst asset is financially supporting adult children as if it's an investment. It's a loving gesture that can quietly destroy your future. Parents often say, they just need a little help, or, it's temporary, believing they're investing in their kids' success, but this well-meaning support has ruined the retirement plans of millions. A 2023 Bankrate report shows 68% of parents gave financial help to adult children last year, and half admitted it hurt their own finances, causing delayed retirements, less savings, or more debt. What starts as a few months of help with rent can turn into years of dependence. The numbers are harsh. Every $10,000 taken early from your retirement account could cost you $30,000 to $40,000 in lost future growth. You can borrow money for school, homes, or cars, but you can't borrow for retirement. This situation gets even harder emotionally. Support often brings guilt, stress, and unhealthy expectations. If you're skipping vacations or cutting back while your child upgrades their phone or drives a new car, resentment builds. Financial help can quietly turn into a lifestyle for your child, not a bridge to independence. To protect your future and your relationship, set clear boundaries like, I'll cover 3 months of rent while you find a job, then it's up to you. Offer tools for budgeting and financial education, not just cash. Consider tying support to real progress like job searching, paying off debt, or finishing school. The most loving thing you can do for your children is show them what financial independence looks like. The worst thing you can give them is your own future financial burden, because you drained your retirement trying to prop up their adult life. Take care of yourself first, just like putting on your own oxygen mask before helping others. That's not selfish, it's smart, responsible parenting that teaches your kids strength and independence. But here's the truth, these 8 wealth destroyers are only a small part of a much larger problem. The financial industry is full of traps that seem smart but are designed to take your money. The real difference between being rich and staying broke isn't luck or income, it's knowledge. And now, you've got the knowledge that protects your future. If you found this video useful, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to not miss our future uploads. See you in the next video.